Good morning, this is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here on Technique Tuesday, and goodness gracious, I thought I was going to do a shawl or something, but alrighty, I got sidetracked. And I had an upcoming sock class, and I was working on that pattern, and I decided to show you some German short rows. I love German short rows. Let me tell you why. German short rows are a type of short row used to design the back of the heel of a sock. And what I love about the German short rows is they're easy to do. It's easily remembered. You do it the same way on a knit side as you do on a purl, and it's totally cool. I'm going to show you that. So as we're going along, let us know where you're from, maybe what you're working on. Oh, Jim, we forgot to mention our prize from last week. Last week we had a skein of Sueno, and I offered this as the prize because, as you all know, this Sueno is one of my favorite yarns. And so the red barn door was a winner, and you guys voted on that. So this week I thought I will have some bamboo pop sock. And what's neat about this yarn is it has some nylon in it. It's very similar to our regular bamboo from Universal Yarns, but it's called bamboo pop sock because it has some nylon in it for doing socks. And I was really excited to get this yarn. It is so incredibly soft, and I would love to show you all the different colors, but guess what happened? We got our stock in, and in 3 days, every single skein sold except for this one. So, and this one happened to not be on the site, or it would have been sold too. So we are getting a huge shipment in, and it is this yarn that I'm working on my socks. That's what it looks like when it's striped. And I have really enjoyed working with it. Now let me tell you a little bit of characteristics about this sock yarn. The first thing I want to mention is it is super, super soft. The second thing that I want to mention, if you normally use a number 2 sock needle like I use, go down to a number 1. It seems to, because it's so slippery, it's hard to hang on to that strand of the working yarn while you're working along. So keep that in mind. If you're a brand new sock knitter, just think about it before you start making socks with it, your very first pair, because it might be a little bit difficult for you. But if you're up for a challenge, it does make a wonderful, wonderful finished fabric. So it's something to think about.
So
Plus, the price is really reasonable, right, Jim?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people coming online. So Cheryl, Debbie, a lot of them said they like the bamboo pop, so they probably haven't tried the bamboo pop sock.
Oh my gosh, this is different. Let's see if I can show you, Jim. I'm just going to walk for 1 second and get regular bamboo pop and show them maybe the difference. 1 second here. Okay, so this bamboo pop looks like this. Okay, now I'm going to add the other ball. Do you see how it's finer? It's a little bit finer, and it's a little bit shinier to hang on to. But you know what it almost reminds me of? Because I've been on this silk pillowcase binge, right, Jim, where I'm making my own pillowcases. This yarn reminds me of silk, the silk pillowcases that I've been making. So it is really nice. I really like it. I like the way it stripes, and I'm really, excited about this yarn. Anyways, we're getting a huge stock in, but it'll be about a week, so look for that. And the price point on it is very reasonable. And I think it would be good for shawls and stuff too, not just for socks. So if any of you out there have already tried it, let me know what you think about it. Maybe you can put comments in the comment section so other people can learn from you. And also, don't forget to post what projects you're working on and put comments in the comment section. Maybe share with your friends and push that little like button so that we can all learn together. It's always fun to learn things together. So, anyways, I was working on these socks. I started them last Friday, right? And I, as you can see, am almost done with them. And the reason why I can knit them so quickly is I do 2 at a time, toe up in the round. So when I'm knitting along here, I have my working yarn right here, for this sock and my working yarn right here for that sock, right? Now this yarn likes to wind back on itself and tangle up into a knot. So if you just take a little tiny Ziploc baggie and you separate these, so because they don't play nice together, they tangle up together and drive me nuts. So
I think the cat helps too.
yes, the cat might be helping. Max likes to knock everything off the counter and drag it around. If there's any yarn to be eaten and swallowed, he'll do that too. Crazy cat. Anyways, so when I'm knitting along, if you can see here, I will be, so I just finished here, and I take that needle and you pull it out and bring it around, and I would be ready to knit again, knitting across here and then across here. Then I would turn, and then again, this would be where my last stitch was. I would pull that out and push this needle in and work on. So actually it's pretty easy to do 2 at a time in the round. It may seem a little confusing at first, but it's really cool. And for those of you that are local that can sign up for classes, we have a sock class coming up. And what are the dates for that again, Jim?
It's in October, I think the 23rd or something like that.
Anyways, look, where can they find that?
On our website, on the events.
So you look under events on Alpaca Direct, and you'll see when the class is coming up. And so what it's going to be is it's going to be toe-up socks. And the reason why I love toe-up socks so much, and I know I probably mentioned this 20 ways to Sunday, but I like to know, like you to know where I'm coming from and what my decision-making process, why I decided the toe-up socks were so fantastic. And it's that I don't like to waste yarn, right? So when I do toe-up socks, you start at the toe and you make the foot. And then you can just knit until you're out of yarn. See, if you do top down, you have to try and guess how much yarn you're gonna leave over to be able to do the foot. So you may not make your cuff as long because you're worried about running out of yarn. And sometimes if you play chicken with it, you could run out of yarn before you finished your foot. And that would not be good, not be good. I guess you could make the toes a different color, but anyways, I don't like to play yarn chicken like that. And I do love to use all of my yarn. So doing it toe up, I don't have to worry about that. Another thing is when I'm doing a pattern that is top down, and say the pattern's gonna go top down, what I do is I take the pattern, it'll be like a chart, for instance, a picture of something. And all I would do is turn it upside down. So I'm reading the chart this way instead of this way. So the pattern is exactly the same. I don't have to change anything. All I have to do is turn the chart upside down. So that's something to think about. I do that a lot. I do that kind of stuff. And also when I'm doing socks, I love the patterns that have a small, medium, and large, and Michelle Hunter is fantastic for that. And so when we're doing socks, usually 56 stitches is a small, 60 is a medium, and 64 is a large. So if you find patterns that have all the sizes, then they will accommodate my small foot at 5.5 all the way up to my husband's size with the large. So it's pretty cool. You can do that. So also, I wanted to show you this little foot form. And all you do is you take a piece of cardboard. You know when you get something in the mail in a box? Take that box and open it up. Now step on it with your bare foot. Then trace your foot with a permanent marker. Then take a good pair of scissors and cut that form out. Now, when you're knitting along, instead of taking off your shoes for your toe-up sock and trying it on all the time, you can put this little form in your sock.
Why don't you show them?
And it works great. I just had it in there, but I'll do it again. Anyways, you can put the form in the sock. Well, let me turn it the right way. Now, don't do what I did. I put measurements on here, and I didn't write down what the measurements meant. So I'm not sure what they mean. If you're going to write marks, you should identify what the marks mean. If it's 2.5 inches or 2.75 inches or what have you, you should always identify what the marks are. But do you see how you can try it on as you go, just with your little sock form? So you can be at open knitting and you don't have to feel like you take off your socks and shoes. while you're in open knitting. Of course, I would do that, but some people wouldn't like to do that. I grew up in a large family where there were 7 of us in our family, and we had 4 boys and 3 girls.
And 2 bedrooms.
And 2 bedrooms. So modesty was not at the top of my priority list because it was called survival because we had 1 bathroom for all of us. So yes, and we lived in 2 bedrooms. So very small house, and we were nice and cozy. So forget the modesty. Anyways, all right. So as I'm going along here, I wanted to show you a couple different sock yarns. If you're thinking about socks doing 2 at a time, in the round, doing magic loop method, and you want to do it from home, and you've decided that you don't need the class, you can always just buy some sock yarn, and let me show you some sock yarns that we have, and maybe we can hold them up close to each other so you can see the differences in them. And the first one that I wanted to talk about was this Wonderland Yarns, and this is 100% superwash merino, so it doesn't have nylon in it.
Which one is it though?
It's by Cheshire Cat, Wonderland's
Okay.
Yarns by Cheshire Cat. And what I love about this yarn is it's 512 yards. It's got a lot of yardage in there, so I could easily make 2 pairs of socks with this.
For you. Maybe.
For me. And if you wanted a long cuff on your socks, you guys could make 1 pair of socks, but you could make it with a long cuff. And do you see the vibrant, it's hand dyed and it's vibrant colors.
We just got a bunch of that in, I think, too.
Yes, that's why I was mentioning it, because it's beautiful yarn. Another thing that a lot of people like is this Zauberball Crazy. And let me show you, Jim, I want to grab the regular Zauberball so I can show them. With Zauberball, there are 2 different kinds of Zauberball. Zauberball Regular, Zauberball Crazy. And I always thought one is a wilder color. And then it took me quite a while to figure this out, that it's not just that it has a crazy color, it's that one is a 2-ply yarn and one is a single-ply yarn. Do you see that?
So which one's which?
Zauberball Crazy is a 2-ply. Zauberball Regular is a single-ply. Now if I'm doing socks, I'm using Zauberball Crazy because it will last. If you have applied yarn when you're making socks, it'll last better. And remember, you spend a long time making your socks, so you want them to last for a long time. So using the Zauberball Crazy is a better option than using regular Zauberball because it'll last longer, right? So then I wanted to show you, you guys know that one of my favorite sock yarns of all time is Zen Garden. And I love the Serenity 20 because it has some cashmere. Let me read the actual contents to you. It is super fine, 70% superfine merino and 20% cashmere and 10% nylon. So this has the nylon in it, it has cashmere in it, and it has superwash merino. Well, the best of the best. It's also a little bit expensive, but it's good.
What's that brown colorway? People were asking.
Oh, this one? Mm-hmm. This brown colorway is called Hayden Lake in the Fall. We have some colors that are dyed just for us, and this is one of those colors. And it was a picture that you took, right, Jim?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Jim took a picture from the lake, and from our Hayden Lake, and then had yarn made with those colors. So it's pretty cool. Also, we have our new yarn, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about it. It's called Sasquatch. And this is a wonderful sock yarn as well. And we're almost all sold out, and we have another order coming soon. So, and this one is called Emerald. And this little guy is Rose Garden. And that one is Tartan. And they're beautiful yarns. And it also is an 80% superwash merino. And then we have 10% cashmere and 10% nylon. So you can make socks out of it that'll last. A lot of people who knit socks, they want nylon in their socks so that they have a sturdy product that has some stretch in it. So anyways, all right. One more time for the contest was...
Some people joined. They want to know what they need to do to join the contest.
Oh my goodness, it's so easy to join the contest. All you have to do is post comments in the comment section. Maybe you can let us know what you're working on. Maybe you're working on a really cool project that we want to do too. Don't forget to list the pattern. Because lots of times I'll go back and say, hey, what is the pattern for that? Because I want to make it too. Because there's some wonderful knitters that join our little group. And we also have a VIP group that you can join that's free, where the knitters help each other. And there's some fantastic people in there. So you can go to Alpaca Direct, and at the bottom of the page, right, Jim?
It's on our Facebook page, the VIP group.
Oh, it's on that. You have to go to Facebook, Alpaca Direct. Cool. That's cool. And the prize for this week was the bamboo pop sock. And I do think this would make a wonderful shawl as well as socks. So I'm excited to use it more. I really like that yarn. So let's look at the skills. Again, I want to show you German short rows, and let me tell you why. German short rows, I feel like they're easier than the traditional wrap and turn. You don't have to worry about picking up any wraps. How about that? All you do is you knit the stitch as if it's a knit two together. And it looks like a double stitch. So oftentimes you'll see it referred to as a double stitch, or capital DS, double stitch in patterns. So let's take a look at this. Oh, forgot to mention, we also have these wonderful sock blockers. And I don't know if you've ever used sock blockers before, but these are great. When you're done with your socks and you had them soaked and you want them to block, you put them on these little sock holder and let it dry. And you can even hang it on a door or what have you, and it'll just sit there and dry, and your socks will be beautifully blocked when they're done. One thing to keep in mind is I have noticed, because my foot is so small and my leg is not that wide, that it can sometimes, even though this is the smallest size, it can be a little bit big. So if you think that you're on the border between a small and medium size for a sock blocker, get the smaller size. You'll be happier.
And some people asked about that versus the plastic ones, because they have plastic ones.
Yeah, okay, so the reason why I chose these metal ones, and I love these metal ones, is that there's a ton of airflow.
They're stainless too, right?
All over the place, yes. They don't rust, they don't do anything funky. I love that you can put them on your doorknob, and I love how quickly your socks dry when they're on them. So that's why I like these particular sock blockers. They're fantastic that way. And, okay, so I've showed you the little trick for yarns that like to mess with each other. This yarn will mess around. It'll get tangled and then tie into knots. So you don't want to do that. So knitting with one ball of yarn on the right side and one ball of yarn on the left side really helps to cut down on tangled yarn. Another thing that I've done, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's two balls, and I made this out of one ball. All I did is I took a scale and weighed it, and then I cut them out in half, and then I put it on my ball winder and Swift, or not the Swift, just the ball winder, and I wind it until, so if it was a 4-ounce skein, then I would wind it until I have 2 ounces left on the actual ball, until there's only 2 ounces left on here. Then I would cut one and then wind the next one until it's done. And then you would have 2 balls that are exactly the same weight, and hopefully your socks, you can use it all the way until the end. So that's another little trick that I used to do. So I'm coming around here and I'm going to show you the German short rows. You'll notice that on see this mess right there? These are Knitter's Pride Dreams, and that cord it has memory. They call that memory when it pulls back like that. And what you can do to get rid of it, which I wanted to do this morning, but I didn't, I got busy doing other stuff, is that you can soak this in hot water so it relaxes and lays flat, because otherwise it just kind of gets in your way. But it's all cool. We can work with anything. And a lot of people will say, what size needles and what size cord do you use for 2 at a time toe-up socks? Well, this one is long. It's like a 47-inch. And when I'm working, I use whatever I have. Right, Jim? Mm-hmm. I do not. If I have a 60-inch cord, I would use it just because that's what I have. So, but ideally when you're doing socks 2 at a time toe up, you would use 40-inch or possibly a 47-inch. And those two cord lengths work great.
Debbie says she likes Chow-Goo needles.
I love Chow-Goo needles, and the reason why I love Chow-Goo needles is they have a nice lace tip that's sharp and it's pointed. So you'll see here, okay, so I got sidetracked, so I didn't tell you. So we have 12 stitches on this baby sock, and we're going to do a German short row heel. So we have placed a marker with 4 stitches in the center that we're not going to be working, and 4 stitches on either side that we are going to be doing German short rows. And so I'm going to show you really quickly how to do it. So you knit all the way until you get to your last stitch. Okay? And then you get to the last stitch and you go ahead and knit that one. So you go ahead and knit it just as normal. Then you turn your work. Now you would do a double stitch, and what you do with the double stitch, and you do the same thing on the purl side as you would on the knit side, is this working yarn is always in front, no matter if it's a knit or a purl. You flip the stitch from the left hand needle to the right hand needle purl wise, always, no matter where you're doing your double stitches. Did you see how I pulled that tight? I want you to pull your double stitches tight. If you're going to have success at this German short row, you've got to pull it tight. Okay, so you pull it so there's a V over the top, okay, and then you would knit to the other end. And I happen to be purling, but I mean, you know, knit in pattern, you know. Anyways, so you go all the way to that end and show you what you do.
And what are you doing right there?
These are, the stitch markers are going to tell me when to stop doing my German short rows. So that we have a heel that looks uniform. So I've knit all the way to the end in pattern, which happen to be purling. Okay, then I'm going to turn my work. Okay, yarn in front, as we always do. This yarn comes up and over the top. It always comes up and over the top. And do you see how I've made a V? Again, that's the double stitch that they're referring to. Just a German short row. And you can use these German short rows in place of wrap and turns, in place of any other kind of short row. It works beautifully. And what I like about it is it's more invisible. So I'm going to knit on this row. I'll be knitting until I get to my double stitch. So I've knit all the way to the double stitch, and I know this is a double stitch because it has 2 strands across the top. It's very easy to recognize. Oops, sorry, Jim. Let me pull out more yarn. Then I turn my work again, right? Because we're not going to work the double stitch, and we're going to slip that purl eyes with the working yarn up and over the stitch. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and purl again. Okay? And these short rows are used, even if you don't like doing socks, short rows are used in shawls, in sweaters, in everything, in all different kinds of knitting. So learning German short rows is a wonderful skill. Oh my gosh, it'll make your picking up, you don't have to pick up any wraps. All you do is treat it as a knit 2 together. And so again, I knit till I got to my short row, and then, or double stitch, should I say, and then turn and knit again. Okay, and then I'll knit. See, that's my other short row right there, and I can see because it's 2 strands. See that? So then I turn, and I go up and over the top. I'm trying to untangle my yarn. You see how this is a mess. Cut.
You said the Chow-Goo needles don't twist up like that either.
No, right? Chow-Goo needles do not have memory like the knitter's pride. I do like the knitter's pride, but I do not like that cord getting in my way. It just cramps my style. Anyway, I could knit faster if I don't have to worry about the cord, and everything's good if I can get my project done, and then I can admire my good work. Hopefully. Yeah. All right, so I've knit right to where that double stitch is. I'm not knitting the actual double stitch, I'm just knitting up to it. Okay, and then I'll just keep doing double stitches until I get to my markers. And this short row, German short row heel, I found on Michelle Hunter's website, and it's Knit Pearl Hunter, and she's a fantastic teacher. I love her stuff. And what I like about her short row that's a little bit different than some of the other German short rows is she actually goes around the instep of the foot a couple times. In just a minute I'll show you that. And then you get a little bit more depth in your short row heel. Sometimes people complain that short row heels don't fit very well, and so anyways, this short row heel fits just fine. So now I've done double stitches all the way. I have 4 double stitches there, and this one is all done on that side too. So all you do is you go, you keep, see how I'm catching both strands up in there? You got to make sure that you get both sides of it, and then just knit it as if you're knit 2 together. This is when the Chalgu needles would serve me well.
Is there a better point?
They have a little sharper point, and I'm used to metal needles, not wooden needles. I can use anything, but I prefer the metal needles because I tend to knit a little bit tighter, and the metal slides better for me than the wood does. And so anyway,
So what is it you're doing now?
I'm going around the instep. Remember how I told you that the German short row heel on this one goes across the instep twice in the center, so that it gives the depth of the short row heel a little more depth to it, so it fits a little better than a traditional short row heel. Sometimes people find that it fits too snug, and so that is not, we don't want our sock to be tight on our foot, and so I like this short row heel. And for begin to knit sock knitters, this is a fantastic way to learn, because the heel and gusset can be just a little bit overwhelming. So I'm coming back around to the front and then going ahead and knitting these stitches again, if I can get the strand of yarn here. And I didn't pick the great color of needles because the yarn is green and the needles are green. Well, that is no good at all. So then we would knit a complete round again. One second, I'm not trying to snag. This is shepherd's wool worsted that I'm using, and it's a little loosely plied, so knitting with smaller needles and a little bit more loosely plied yarn can be a challenge, but we just take our time and get through it. And then I'll get you started. See how we have half of the heel is done? So now let's show you what you do. I gotta knit all the way around here.
What is it you're doing now?
We're doing the German short row heel. And I've already constructed one half of the wedge of the German short row heel.
Okay.
But now I need to, the heel consists of 2 wedges, and I'm going to be making the other wedge as soon as I get around to this other side. And see, I'll just turn it again, and we just keep going around and around. Now, here's where we do the other half. So we knit to the second marker. So I'm going to knit to the second marker.
So you're doing the other half of the heel?
The other half of the wedge of the back of your heel. So I'm going to knit to the marker, slip that marker, knit 1 stitch, turn, double stitch, and go back. Knit to the other marker. Slip the marker, purl 1. When I'm saying knitting, I'm meaning work in pattern. Yeah. So I have the yarn in front, and I'm going to do a double stitch there. Okay. now from here we go slip the marker, then you would knit that double stitch and then work one more stitch and turn, and that's going to be your next double stitch. And then you pull that tight, oops, don't catch yarn from the back of the stitch. Pull that double stitch tightly. If anything I can tell you about double stitches, if you pull them tightly, you will have a better end result. If you leave it loose, you might have kind of a sloppy, gappy look that is unattractive. You don't want that. You don't want that. So then I'm going to do one more. I'm knitting to the double stitch and then knitting one more and going back and forth, and I'll show you in just a second after I finish this one. And then you can see how the heel, you would do it all the way until you get to the outer edge of your sock. This one's a baby sock. So you knit to your double stitch, but you can see that on this type of short rows, that knit one more, and then that'll be my, but do you see how the heel is turning right here? I'm almost done. I have only a couple more stitches, and I've turned the whole heel of my baby sock. So point being that these German short rows are super easy to do. You have your working yarn is always held in the front. You always slip it from the left-hand needle to the right-hand needle, needle tip to needle tip, or purl-wise, whichever way you want to look at it. And you can do this wonderful German short row heel that fits good, and it's super quick for beginning knitters. So I would highly recommend that you learn how to do this. You can use it in shawls, you can use it in all kinds of stuff. And while your partners or knitting buddies are going along doing short rows and they're doing wrap and turn, so they have to remember which way to pick up the wrap and how to wrap it so it looks good, you'll be done. And they'll still be trying to do their wrap and turn. So it's a great method to use. So let's see if we can go on here. And I wanted this last week, the prize, Sueno. This is a DK weight, and it's super washed bamboo blend of merino. 80-20 blend of merino and bamboo. I've used this for so many projects, and what I love about it, it has a nice twist to it. It is a sturdy yarn. So if you want a project, baby blankets, what's the baby blanket they're all doing on?
The Twinkle Star one?
The Twinkle Star baby blanket, yes.
What's it made of?
It's made of this?
No, the Sueno. What's it? It's an
80-20 blend of superwash merino and bamboo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyways, okay, so the winner for this week, is, I'm looking here. Oh, I see. Denise, Wisniewski? I am sorry if I crucified your name. You just won, and I don't think I pronounced that right. Here is the sock yarn. It's the bamboo pop sock.
And our
yarn.
last
It's a
ball.
brand new yarn that just sold out. I mean, we just brought it in, and in 3 days it completely sold out. So we are very happy to have this yarn, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. Now you will have to wait for yours to come in the mail because this was an extra skein that can't be sold. But we will send one in the mail to you so you can enjoy it. So if you can give us your shipping information and you go to customer service at Alpaca Direct, we can get that out in the mail to you as soon as it arrives on our floor.
So say your name one more time so we can get it.
Let's see here. And oh my goodness, I'm sure I crucified her name, but 1 second here, sweetie.
It's on page 2.
Yeah. Oh dear. Denise Wisniewski? Does that sound right? Wisniewski?
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski?
I don't know. Pretty close.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I crucified your name. I'm probably pretty sure that I did. But anyways.
Congratulations.
You won. Congratulations. You'll love this yarn. It's great for socks and or shawls or whatever kind of thing. The characteristic of bamboo gives you like a cool feeling, right, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cool touch to your skin. And so it is really fantastic for socks and stuff like that, especially for those of us who get warm.
Hey, you have a bunch of knit club members that said they're working on their ladybug shawls and their hats.
Yes, and this next, oh boy, this next project is going to turn some skills up on their side. And so you just buckle your seatbelt and get ready to learn something new, because it is something that I've spent quite a bit of time on, and I really like it. And so I hope you like it too.
And mention that lady. I think her name is Linda. Remember, she put all her projects in the fair. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, didn't I mention that?
No,
oh,
not
no,
in this.
Okay, so we had a VIP club member that has joined our knit club, and she has done like 3 of the projects, right?
3 or 4 of them, I think.
Yeah, and she entered them in the fair. She got first place on every single one of them, except for one of them. She got
Best in show.
Best in show. So if you want to learn new things, the knit club is definitely the way to go. I handhold you on every little sticking point, any little thing that I think might cause you trouble. I do videos, lots and lots of videos. And I would say to those of you who are local that are part of the knit club, please look at the videos, because sometimes there might be something in the project that that I have found a better solution to prevent problems. And I talk about that in the actual videos. So if you look at the videos before you start your project, it might keep you from having problems. So, yes.
And they're all like 1 or 2 minutes. They're small.
Yes, I try to make them very, very short. I don't go on and on, because I don't enjoy those kind of videos for myself. So I try to keep them super short, to the point. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's what it is. And then here's what I just talked about. That's my format. Right, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Quick, super quick, get her done, and move on. And that's what I do. So for this next week, I don't know what I'm going to be working on. I thought this last week I was going to work on a Martina Bem shawl. Maybe I'll get to work on it this week. We'll see. I don't know. But I will see you next Tuesday, and I'm sure that I'll have something fun that I've done. And I hope you guys have a great week. Take care of yourselves, because I think I've heard that there is snow coming. We may get a chance of snow here in Idaho on Friday.
Snow in September.
Yes, which is very unusual. But the good thing is we can wear our knitwear. Yes. My only problem is I tried to put on something this morning, and in our house we keep it a nice warm 72 or so. And so I put on my knitwear, and before I can even leave the house, I have to take it off because I'm too hot. Anyway, better luck next time, I guess. So you guys have a great week, and I hope this gave you a little encouragement to try those German short rows. So you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.